I guess that difference maker. We are live now, so anything we say can be used against us at this
Sir.
point. Yeah, man. Listen, to everyone that's out there, I want to say good evening to everybody and welcome to the Let's Talk show here on Urbancast. I'm your host, Jack, and tonight we're going to be delving into a topic that's vital to the future of our community: youth empowerment. We have with us a man who's on a mission, and his mission is to positively impact the lives and create lasting change. Mr. Dwayne Dupar, also known as Difference Maker. Dwayne, it's a pleasure to have you here with us today. We know that change is possible, even in communities facing significant challenges like ours. Tonight, we're going to explore how we can connect with our youth, inspire them, reshape their futures, especially in communities that have been affected by poverty, violence. Difference maker, could you start off by telling the audience a little bit about your journey and what inspired you to do this stuff, man?
First of all, I want to say thank you for having me on your platform. I'm
Uh huh.
grateful, thankful. You know, it's
Uh huh.
man, to start off, a little bit about my journey. For those of you who don't know, I was expelled from high school my senior year. Had a scholarship to Northwestern. Had offers from all kind of schools all over the country. My mom still have letters right now to this day we never opened. I was an all-state prospect my senior year, high star athlete. I'm gonna say high star. I don't know where they had me, but I was an athlete. Um, and man, the mistake I made, it didn't only cost me my senior year. It's something that I still wrestle with to this day. So
Mm-hmm.
talking in the barbershop and speaking and people telling me over the course of some years, like, man, your voice powerful. When you speak, everybody listen. And you do the rap music, your voice, you come on the song, the whole trajectory of the song change. Like, you
Uh
need
huh.
to use your voice for more than standing behind a chair. So start putting things together. And I realized, like, the mistake I made my senior year, even though I was falsely accused in a lot of what got me expelled, I
Mm-hmm.
still had to take some level of ownership. And
Oh,
so
oh.
now I just want to speak to kids about how opportunities don't last, man. Like, you can get one opportunity to be great and change your future. And if you blow that, it may never come back around. So I'm really just passionate about letting people know mistakes can cost you dearly. Like, nobody wants you to know that that mistake might last the rest of your life if you ain't cautious with your actions. So
Mm-hmm.
that's what really fueled me to make a difference.
Okay. All right. And then, as you really jumped into it, what's been fueling that fire? You know, from that time, because it's been a day since high
Yeah.
school. So
Yes,
what's
sir.
what's been fueling that passion right now, man?
Well, I can tell you it's simple. It's one word: results. Man, when I speak with parents and they cry to me and they open up to me about what their child is wrestling with, their son, their daughter, and I do sessions with these kids, and then 3 weeks later, I get an inbox from either the kid themselves or the parent, and they like, "Hey, since my son talked with you, he haven't been doing X, Y, and Z. Since my daughter spoke with you, she's been a little more, alert and paying attention to her." Like, so I'm focused on results. Like I tell people, man, I don't really care about titles. A title
Hmm.
ain't nothing if it's not attached to results. So really, what keeps my fire burning is the results I'm producing. Like, kids see me, they like, "Difference maker, when you gonna rap again? Man, when you
Hmm.
gonna speak about integrity again?" I say, "Boy, what you know about integrity?" He like, "Man, I was at the Charles Hayward Center when you spoke about integrity." I'm like, wow. And I'm looking
Wow.
at this kid, his pants falling off. He looked like, you know what I'm saying? He looked like a troublemaker, and he walk up and tell me, "Difference maker, integrity is what you do when ain't nobody watching." I was listening. I'm like, wow. So it's just the results, man. I love producing results. That's it for me.
And when that comment come from them young folk, that meant that knowledge was transferred on over to them, and they get it. And you sound last weekend we got news that Miss Ruby Smith passed away.
Uh-huh.
And
Hmm.
she was a, 56 years
Hmm.
in the Rapides Parish school system. And yeah, there was some negative stuff that was said out there, but it was overwhelming. I know on what we put out there,
Yeah.
Miss Ruby Smith. It was overwhelmingly a positive thing, and people talked about the passion she had, and the courage she had, and when you see them young people say, you know, my life was forever changed by that intense conversation that I had with Miss Ruby Smith. That's something to be said, and that payment is priceless as well. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, um, you've dedicated much of your time empowering young people. What are some of the most common challenges you have seen young people face in the impoverished communities right here in the Alexandria Pineville area? And how, in your opinion, can we help them overcome these challenges?
Well, the chief complaint I'm hearing from young people is being heard, being understood. A
Hmm.
lot of young people complain to me. They pull me to the side. They like, difference maker, man. I feel like you the only one to understand me. I feel like you the only one want to listen. And so as I study and do research on where this is coming from, no, who wants to talk and not be heard? Let's start right there. So when you have kids feeling like their voice don't matter, that old philosophy of, speak when you spoken to, and sit down and shut up, you a kid, stay in a child's place. We kind
Hmm.
of got to tailor that in today's world.
Hmm.
Kids have access to so much information to where anytime you turn off that listening ear to what they're trying to say, it's so many things pulling at them that they could turn to when you decide to not value their voice. So one of the things we can do is start by listening. I have a chapter in my book titled "The Listening Ear," and as a motivational speaker, people probably think, oh, he just have something to say. He have a message. He want to inspire. He want to encourage. He want to uplift. But honestly, I'm most effective with my speaking platform when I spend about 30 minutes to an hour listening and letting people open up and be transparent. People open up to me and tell me things that happen to them that they told me their mom don't even know. And I
Hmm.
ask them, I'm like, why are you so comfortable telling me this? Like, why are you? And I have to sometimes let kids know, like, hey, I'm a mandate reporter, like, hold on, slow down. You might tell me something that you might compromise everything. Like, so I'm like, hold up, slow down. And they like, man, I just feel safe with you. Like, I feel like somebody need to know this happened to me. And we go from there. I point them to the resources, the areas of my career that I don't particularly take care of. I point them in directions and make suggestions. But when people feel heard, that's when you make an impact. When people feel like they matter, that's when you make a change.
Hmm.
So I really start with listening. That's really the focal point of my platform. Listening.
Listen, listen.
Yes, sir.
I tell you, Sterling Brown, Dominique Teasley, and Jarvis Fontaine. I think last fall they did this listening tour, and it was just to hear what the young people had to say,
Yes,
and
sir.
it's amazing to hear you guys all along that same line of saying just listen to these young people, and
Mhm.
they'll tell you what's going on out here. And if we do that simple thing, just shut the hell up and listen to them, we'll learn a whole lot of stuff. I hope I ain't offend nobody by
Oh
saying,
no, it's hey, speak your mind, man.
yeah, man,
Yeah,
yeah.
so yeah, and that's real, man. Like a lot of times in our community, we focus on the details that don't matter.
Oh,
For example,
mm,
I study. My wife could tell you I'm up 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. I'm reading statistics on murders and statistics on domestic violence and suicide prevention and conflict resolution.
uh-huh,
Everybody sleep. I'm up studying, trying to hone my craft. And
uh-huh.
we sit up in today's world. I'm talking about not just central Louisiana. I'm talking about across the globe. we'll look at a young man, and if he have his hat on like me right now, we like, oh man, that young man seem to be an upstanding citizen. But if he do this right here, we look like, hey, why he got his hat to the back? He must be a thug. He must be a gangster. But guess what? This man with this hat straight to the back right here, I still have the same knowledge.
That's right.
So while you looking at my appearance and you getting judgmental, it have nothing to do with what's right here. And see, that's the details we focus on, and that's why we don't produce results.
Right.
So it's simple things.
It's the simple thing, right. With the rise in the violent crime, particularly those committed by young people in our community, what do you believe are the root causes behind the increase, and how can we as a community address these issues?
Well, parents don't get mad. Parents don't get mad. But I'm gonna be honest with you, man. Parents don't pay close enough attention to their kids. Man, a kid had a gun so big in his room, it ain't no way if his parents was paying an ounce of attention. You can't see this. I'm talking about this something you would have saw like on Rambo. I'm like, bro, how did he even get that in the house? Well, when parents, they distracted, which most parents are in today's world. I don't focus on the problem. A lot of parents distracted. Sometimes I'm distracted. But what we have to realize as parents is it's a word called balance. If you don't apply that word balance to every equation in your life, you're going to lose. So sometimes we as parents have to turn a blind eye to our distractions. We have to monitor our kids. You see what I'm saying? When you do your wedding vows, it say till death do us part. Well, guess what? It's the same thing with a child. It's no stopping point. You got to constantly monitor these kids from A to Z, and you can't take breaks, because when you take breaks, things can slide right under your nose, and then now your child is in something you didn't have no clue about, and you sitting there, you remorseful, you feeling bad, you feeling sorry, you embarrassed, when all you can do starting now, like, I don't care what happened in the past. Pay more attention to your child. Ask questions. Find out. Getting that, like my mama used to tell me, boy, you ain't gonna ever be too old for me to get in your business. and so we don't have enough of that, right now in today's world. Like, parents are so timid and afraid to violate their child's privacy. Man, them old people gonna get in your business because they want to know what's going on.
That's right.
So, in terms of a solution, though, to answer that part, what I really think needs to be done, we don't need to just sit up and say, hey, the kids, they don't have nothing to do. They engaging in violence. They toting guns. They don't have nothing to do. Well, if you occupy your child's time with challenges, see, parents now, a lot of these young kids don't even take trash out. They don't even wash dishes. They don't have, their mama do everything. So if you don't give a child responsibilities, that time that you're not giving them to do something responsible, that time now goes to an idle mind. So they think like, man, don't be hard on my baby and this or that. But if you give instructions, if you provide structure, you eliminate time for idle minds. So it starts by occupying their time with productive things. And that's a little different than what they might have thought I was gonna say, but that's simply where it starts.
That makes perfect sense, and and the other part of that we've been spiraling down this little angle that we've been going at for a good 40 years, that I can think of, and the last 4 decades. And I guess at this moment, how would we, how do we instill 40 years of stuff that other people, you got 4 generations in that 40 years, right? And so how do you go back and instill that stuff in folk that miss that stuff in a quote unquote normal home? How do we begin to address that part of it? We put that responsibility on the parents, but how do we really, address it in today's society?
Well, it's just like when a millionaire filed bankruptcy, you
Mm-hmm.
got to go back to the basics. Like a lot of times, the stuff that's in writing, it's a good guideline. It's a good format to start with. Like you have to have certain things in place. So if you put things like the school system has a certain way they do business, parents should have a certain way they do business.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone involved should have a certain way they do business. So if you just stick to that guideline, do it at your own pace. You gotta tweak everything. No kid is the same. There's no book on parenting. But what I would like to say is if you just start with the logic, like the basics, like yes ma'am, no sir. Taking something that's not for you is not right. If you want to pass the test, you gotta study. If you want something, you have to work for it.
Mm-hmm.
Implement the small things. Build and grow off the small things. And then you look back and you like, well, I didn't know that made an impact. I didn't know that mattered. I didn't know it made a difference. Start with the small things. And the reason a lot of us struggle, and not just parents, because I love my parents. That's why I laughed. Like I really do love my parents. Because it take a bold person to reach out and ask for help. So
You're
I'm
right.
not never I'm a never be the person that will bash parents. But
You say
that
that say,
small
say, say that part again is nothing wrong with reaching out and say I need some help. Say
Yeah,
that again.
it is. Listen, I tell every single parent that reach out to me, first of all, I want to commend you for reaching out saying you need help. It's okay to admit you need help because everybody walking the face of this earth at some point in time in their life needed a helping hand. It's okay. But you see this platform we using, this social media, is
Yeah, yeah.
making people feel like something wrong if they need help. It's
Uh-huh.
making them feel like something wrong if they need a helping hand. And that's not the case. Actually, the brave person is the person who can admit they need help. But we
Yeah.
we somehow done flipped it and girl, don't put them people in your business. Girl, I wouldn't talk to him. Girl, I wouldn't go. That lady don't need to be in your business. And guess what? That person might be the answer to your problem. A closed
Yeah.
mouth don't get fed. That's a true statement.
All right. And look at my boy Dominique out here lurking right now.
That's my boy, man.
He gonna talk about me. When we talk about change in the community, struggling with poverty, what does that change look like? When you know that a lot of the little young people that you're dealing with, they go home, their lights might be off, all that kind of stuff, and they got to get ready for school the next day, and they couldn't take something as simple as a bath or brush their teeth that morning. How do we create a sustainable impact that lifts the entire community, starting with the youngest members of our communities?
So basically, again, you start with listening. They gonna tell you exactly what impacts them the most. You start out with listening. And
Mm-hmm.
in order to be effective, you have to adhere to the message. Like
Mm-hmm.
I say this a lot to people that I talk to. If I tell you I'm having back problems, don't try
Mm-hmm.
to treat me for a broken leg.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the same scenario that go with your question. Like we have to see kids have a certain way they want to do things. Us as adults, we have a certain thing we feel like they need to know. We know what's required. So what we do is meet in the middle. We have to combine what they request with what we know they need and work together. And that's how you produce the best results. But what we do, we turn a blind ear to these kids. And when they say you throw a youth event, and at that youth event, if it ain't no basketballs bouncing, no footballs being thrown, no 2K, no Madden, no NCAA tournament going on, guess what them kids doing? Texting their mama, come get me. I'm ready to go. So if you throw that youth event and you center it around what gets their attention, you can make a difference. I tell everybody the lamp ain't gonna come on if it ain't plugged up. You got to make a connection before you make a correction.
All right, all right.
So that's one of my personal favorite quotes. The lamp will not come on if it's not plugged up. So a lot of times we trying to make corrections with these kids before we make connections with these kids. When they tell you what they need, When they say my back hurting, don't treat them for a broken leg. Adhere to their exact concerns, and then you're gonna see real results.
All right, all right. One of the biggest challenges is building trust and truly connecting with the young people. In your experience, what are the best ways to engage with youth who may feel disconnected, disillusioned with the community?
Really, they teach you in counseling a effective way to deal with people is ask more questions than making more statements. And I know Dominique and Jarvis probably like, hey, he on it. Like you gotta ask questions. You ask questions. You let the room come to you. Let the information come to you, and you take that information and you start putting feet to the. You put feet to the ground and you get work done. So what I would say is with young people, if you really want to make an impact, all you have to do is make sure whatever matters to them matters to you. You can't close your world and they world off. We all in this world together. And I tell people, these young people are gonna one day be the caretakers. People ask me, man, why you care so much about this stuff? Why you this or that? But I let people know this kid might be my care provider one day. This kid might be over the cable company. It might be something significant about this kid to where if I pour into them now, they more professional and able to provide needs and wants for me later down the line. So it really just start with, man, just I know it sounds like I'm repeating myself, but it really starts with making sure the information you providing is the information you receive from them. You can't ask somebody in their 60s what's bothering a kid that's 16 years old. Because unless they in the hood, and I'm saying that the politically correct way, unless they in the hood, they
Uh,
don't have
uh,
a clue what that 16-year-old dealing with. And
right, right. Well, we got a statement right here on the floor from Justin Howard. He said, "Open the floor for different perspective." Mr. Howard, here's what I want to say to you. You got an idea. I'm gonna say to you, do like difference maker did. He reached out over here to me and said, "Hey, I want to talk." And so, if you'd like to talk, just send us a message, and we'll dialogue and we'll start setting up something. We do realize that we are not a monolithic group of people. We got different ways to approach it. There's no one. It takes this whole dad blasting village to solve the problems that we dealing with. And we want to hear from the voices of everybody, in the community, and work. And just, one kid might work really well with you, DM, and then another kid may work really well with Justin Howard or with, his position. And
yeah,
we just have to have the ability to quickly discern whether my solution is the right one for a particular child or somebody else, and then reach out for that additional help. You know what I mean?
yeah. Can
So,
I piggyback?
oh yeah, yeah, you absolutely you
Let me
can, bro.
piggyback just to speak to what Justin is saying.
Mm-hmm.
I 100% agree because actually his statement is exactly what I'm saying. Stop
Mm-hmm.
closing an ear and an eye to the things that don't align with what you think.
Yeah, absolutely.
You see what I'm saying? You gotta
Mm-hmm.
open that floor. You gotta open that floor up, and you gotta be like, "Hey, look, this is my way. This is my philosophy. But hold up, let me humble myself. Let
Mm-hmm.
me see what I'm possibly missing. Let me see what I'm not really focused on, and how can I, man, listen." In leadership, a lot of pride gotta be swallowed.
Mm.
In leadership, a lot of
Right up.
pride has to be swallowed. I have been at several events where they were trying to do X, Y, and Z, A, B, and C, and they start getting frustrated. And I'm like, hey, look, let's do this. And they
Right.
like, do it. Then the kids start, hey, they happy. Then I've heard, man, he difference maker. He come here, he taking over. Well, no, I'm not taking over. I'm just trying to add structure and I'm trying to put organization on something that appeared to be chaotic. So
Mm-hmm.
kids was running everywhere. I said, hey, let's do a free throw contest. Now we got everybody in a line. They
Yeah.
quiet. This just come from experience.
Yeah.
You see
Yeah.
what I'm saying? It ain't me trying to flex. It's just experience. So in leadership, the people throwing that event instead of feeling like they not adequate, they instead of feeling like they're not getting the job done, just simply say, hey, this man stepped in with a great idea. It's still my event. Let me swallow my pride. At the end of the day, this is my event, and he came, he helped it be successful. We can all get along and do it together. It's simple.
Mm.
So, different perspective is good, though. I agree.
Yeah. Absolutely, absolutely. Now, this next question, and I see my boy Lotto is out there looking at me. When I ask this question, if I don't add this part into it, he'll be beating me up this evening.
Yeah, go
The
ahead.
phone will be saying like, Jack, you didn't ask that question the right way. Mentorship, education, and recreational activities are often seen as key components to changing young person's path. What role do these play in your work, and how local leaders and educators can become a part of that solution? Now, I see you at the football games with St. Louis City Stars, 318 United, out over at Pineville High School, Ash, whatever. I know recreation is definitely in your book, so I had to put that in there for Damon.
Yeah,
And if I didn't, he'd beat me up big
yeah,
time.
I
So,
got you. Well, definitely, recreational activities play a pivotal role because when you, like I said earlier, it just goes back to what I said earlier. When you say the kids need something to do, that's a statement. But when you give them something to do, that's action. So you take St. City Stars, for example, they're
mhm.
bringing kids in, they're giving them a platform, somewhere to go, somewhere to, a place to do things outside of school, outside of their home. And it's fun and games while these kids are also learning how to be a part of something. So recreational activity definitely matters. I take, for example, when I was working with Stop the Violence, me and Mr. Fred Burgess, we was working over there at the Charles Hayward Center. We had kids, we had kids every day coming to the center, and like you said, some kids would go home. You didn't know their situation. We do hot dogs, pizza. I had a kid tap me one night, brought me to tears. He said, "Difference maker, can I please get 2 more slices of pizza? It ain't nothing to eat at my house." You want to know what I did? I told that kid, I say, stand right there. We
Mhm.
served everybody else a slice of pizza. I gave that kid the whole box. I say, bro, take this whole pizza home. That's just the kind of heart I have. And so those type of platforms, after school programs, recreational activities, taking these kids to see different things that make them dream big, make them want more, is very, very crucial that we put some type of focus on it because it's necessary to produce leaders. And that's just the simplest way I can put it.
Oh, okay. All right. All right. Um, how can we, in your opinion, you're from Alexandria, right? The
Yes,
whole
sir.
yeah,
Yes,
you're
sir.
part of that Dupar clan.
Lower
Um,
third, man.
how can we, difference maker? How, in your opinion, how can we break the cycle of poverty and crime for the next generation? Are there any initiatives or strategies that you've seen that have been particularly effective in steering youth away from the negative influences?
Yeah, so basically, I've seen how effective it is. Kids between the ages of 14 and 19, which was our after school program group. Man, so many of these kids love when a basketball bounce, and we would throw 3-on-3 tournaments spontaneously, like 3-on-3 tournaments. I'm talking about on a Wednesday night. Fred Burgess can tell you. One time, I show up to Stop the Violence. I had trophies and plaques. It was a Wednesday night. They like, difference maker, where you going? We got an event today. I say, no, we having a 3-on-3 tournament. All the kids in there picked their 2 teammates. We did a 3-on-3 tournament. Mr. Fred say, difference maker, hey, it's getting late. I'm ready to go. I say, Mr. Fred, I got you. I say, but guess what? These kids want these plaques. They want these trophies. And when you give kids something to play for, something to earn, some type of accomplishment they can be proud of, man, I'm telling you, this stuff works wonders. We gotta provide the things that intrigue them. It's simple, man. I promise you, because I see this stuff working. I'm not just talking about what I'm thinking or something I wrote down. No, I see this stuff. When you get these kids something they can accomplish, oh, they buy in.
That's right. That's right. That's
They
right.
buy in.
Look, I'm gonna tell you, Damon, one of my business partners, he's sitting over there watching this conversation. So I sent him a link. So if he wanted to come in, he had basketball practice, but he thoroughly engaged in the
I
conversation.
appreciate it. I appreciate it.
he engaged in it, man.
I'm super thankful for everybody that's locked in right now. I promise.
Yeah, man. I think the whole community is locked in, difference maker.
Man, it mean a lot to me.
Yeah,
Because that just means people care, and
yeah.
it start with caring. If people ask me, man, why you care so much about these young people, and I tell them, bro, man, when that song say, I believe the children are the future, they really could have said, I know the children are the future. Like, because after us, somebody have to step up. And to answer one of your questions that just hit me, this might ruffle some feathers.
Oh, okay. Go ahead, Russell.
It's some people that have to admit that they either need to step down or they need to invite help. This strategic, what I'm saying. Because if you don't want to step down, I understand. Everybody need a check. Everybody need a way to provide. That's fine. But in leadership, it's a lot of pride that have to be swallowed.
That's right. The ego.
Call a helping hand. Listen, to all my leaders that's listening, if you call somebody that makes your program, your idea, your event, or whatever you're trying to do more successful, at the end of the day, you still win.
Absolutely.
You still win.
You still win.
We got these people around here. Man, I ain't gonna call Mr. Jack to cover the story because he already got enough fame. Well, okay, we'll let the little 4 listeners you got deal with your story when you could have had 8,000. You see what I'm saying? So sometimes in leadership, no, all the times in leadership. And I'm gonna tell you how humble I am. Right now, if you show me somebody that can impact the kid I can't reach, guess what I'm gonna do? And I did this before, bro. I will appoint that kid to the person that can fix them faster than me. Because what I care about results. If I can't do it for you, I'm not going to cry and be like, man, this the first kid ever didn't connect with me. Man, I'm going to send you to that person who can help you. Because like I say all the time, do you care about being relevant or do you care about results?
Results. Right. And
it's a real simple question.
Yeah.
I care about results, man. So I ain't speaking to nobody in a way I wouldn't speak to myself.
Yeah, right.
It's simple, man.
Right. It's just that simple. And understanding that with your wisdom and stepping aside and saying, hey, this person can take it and move forward with it is your leadership, is your wisdom, and saying that I found them resources to get it done. Yes. You know, it's really simple. It's
no
really
shame simple. In it. No. You still was instrumental in making it happen.
Yep.
What's there to be ashamed of?
Nothing. Take a look at it. Youth empowerment is often is equipping the young people with leadership skills. How can we encourage youth to take ownership of their futures and step into leadership roles within our community? Now, when I ask that question, I ain't just talking about the babies that you guys are mentoring, and I'm actually talking about you right now, Dwayne Dupar. I ain't gonna even call you Dupe. I ain't gonna even say difference maker this time. It's time. Right now, is that time when, we all know. I used to say, because I'm a Generation Xer, and it was the Generation Xers and the Millennials that had the power. But about 2 years ago, y'all kicked us to the side and said, "Hey, we got this." For lack of better words, we got this stuff now. We are the ones that are empowered. My question to you is, how did we begin for you guys, your age, maybe about 10 years older than you, and down, and say, hey, y'all at the start, y'all at the wheel now. You can take this thing and you can do whatever the hell you want to do with it and move forward. So how do we not only get you guys to accept the fact that y'all are the ones in power right now,
Mhm.
and empower y'all to say, hey, to the younger kids that's coming below you, that you're gonna be the next ones moving into this position? What do we do for that?
Feather ruffling time.
Oh,
I like to warn people, you know, because that's what it is. So if you want to convince the younger generation that leadership roles are important, you have to start by setting good examples and showing them the benefits of being a leader.
mm,
Something we struggle with. Young people are so mindful of the information put in front of them. And
mm-hmm.
guess what? They have more resources and ways to get information than we had. So when the church people fall out, the young people hear about it. When the two community leaders bump heads and they don't want to work together, the young people hear about it.
That's
I
right.
told you it's gonna ruffle some feathers. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
When the two people who do the same work can't work together because one of them got too much pride, one of them won't one of them won't put their ego to the side, the young people hear about it.
That's
So
right.
what's the benefits to young people of wanting to be a leader if all the leaders can't get together? If all the leaders can't work together? You know what a young person told me? They say, Mr. Difference Maker, I ain't gonna lie to you, bro. I don't really have nothing to look forward to. I say, whoa, wait, what you mean? He say, man, all the old people be beefed out. This came from a 15-year-old. He said, all
Mm-hmm.
the old people be beefed out. I say, what you mean? Elaborate. He say, man, I get so tired of, man, my mom and them be talking about the people that got into it at her job and the people at the school mad and they got a post on Facebook, this or that. And he like, bro, he say, difference maker, I ain't gonna lie to you. He say, I don't know if I'm looking forward to that. He said, I thought when you become grown, all that kind of stuff be out the door. He say, but man, I ain't gonna lie. He say, man, I'm probably better off being a kid. I say, man, I have never heard nobody tell. This is a true story. So I'm telling everybody that's listening right now, all my leaders, everybody, I respect every single person in a role of leadership.
That's right.
We can't just talk it, y'all. We can't just talk it. We
Mm-hmm.
gotta really do better. You see what I'm saying? We gotta really do better setting examples, because when we set good examples, guess what happened when you set a good example? A good example is left to be followed, and that's all I'm gonna say about that.
It ain't a whole lot more you can say about it, brother.
Facts.
Yeah, yeah. What can the community, families, local organizations, business, our leaders do better to support our youth and create, safe, nurturing environments for them to actually thrive in, and just be kids. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Basically, man, just gotta get out the comments and get on the cement. I posted that one day. You know, you really have to be a reflection of the statements you make. You
Mm-hmm.
really have to be a reflection of what you say you believe. So when I say be a reflection, I mean when people see you, you
Mm-hmm.
should look like a person that will invest in the correctional programs. And when people are offering, see, parents, let me say this real quick. Parents will see the event on Facebook. They will see the youth event that probably their child should go to, but they will go to their child and say, hey, I see difference making them got a youth event where they gonna let the kids do this. I see Dominique Teasley doing something this weekend about, drug awareness. Do you wanna go? We give these kids too many options. If your child a troublemaker, listen, if your child is a troublemaker, correction is necessary, not optional.
Not option.
Now I'm gonna tell you why it's necessary and not optional. Because we don't want our kids in graveyards, and we don't want our kids in the prison system.
Mm-hmm.
So when your child is a troublemaker, it's not embarrassing that your child is a troublemaker. You know how many parents out here are school teachers, doctors, lawyers, attorneys, and their child is on crystal meth. They struggling with some type of addiction. They having suicide. So the problem is not that your child is a troublemaker. The problem is that you turn a blind eye to it and you sweep it under the rug and you hope somehow one day somebody gonna knock on your door and say your child a rocket scientist. That ain't how it work. When your child a troublemaker, listen, if you get a cut, what's the first thing you ask for? Hey, somebody got some triple antibiotic on me. You got some Band-Aids. You want to treat the cut. When your child is a troublemaker, you have to treat the cut. When your child has problems, you have to face the problems. Because that problem your child has today can be something much bigger tomorrow.
That's right.
See, I'm a man of accountability. I can be doing something I have no business doing. If you call me out on it, I'm going to agree with you. I'm going to agree with you. Because guess what? If I shouldn't be doing it, I shouldn't be arguing about doing it. And that's what we have too much of in today's world. People know they wrong, and they will fight you, even in being wrong. People will fight you tooth and nail because they on that, don't do my baby like that. Well, I'm going to share something quick, and I'm sorry. Reverend Dupar, my uncle, I could not be on this show without mentioning him. He said this to me one day. He said this to the entire church one day. He said, you will keep saying, that's not my baby. That's not, my baby ain't do that. My baby don't do that. And I know that ain't my child. And he said, when your child laying in that casket, you won't be able to deny him then. When they're in that orange jumpsuit, you won't be able to deny that it's them then. So why not fix these problems? See, you got two types of people. You either proactive or you reactive. You can take action before things get bad or worse, or you can sit back and wait, and then you can react to something that's out of control. And I'm gonna leave it at that, man.
Yeah, you see what you see your boy Charles Smith. You know, the GOAT, Mr. Coach Smith, looking at you tonight.
Man, that's look at this right here, Coach Smith. Look. You see that, Coach? Look. I keep this close to me. Hall of Fame coach right there, man. I learned a lot from that man. True talk.
Trust. Yeah, I definitely would like to say, you know, we've all have, man, on that spot. You know, difference maker. You know, this has certainly been a conversation tonight. And number one, I ain't even ready to close. I just want to tell you thank you ahead of time. What I really want to say is,
man, it's mutual. I promise you.
Yeah. The other thing I want to say, because I said I was going to say it up front, and I didn't say it, but difference maker say, if you got that kid at home and you want to just try something a little different, and you want to go drop him off to get his hair cut, her hair, or just have somebody else to go talk to over there, you can always stop by Precise Barbershop. It's located at 104 Constitution Boulevard. That's out on off of Highway 28 West, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Correct.
Yep. All right. So, and then of course, just remember, and when you get done, I'm gonna get the number to the shop, and I'll add that stuff in there as well.
Yes, sir.
Before we get out of here, let me just pan through here and see. No questions, bro. They making statements tonight, so they ain't questioning what you saying tonight. They just, I think I put some of the comments up there. Dominique and Sterling, Lotto, Damon, all been with us tonight, paying attention to what's going on. But before we get ready to get out of here, is it anything that you want to say that we didn't cover? You know, about trying to empower our youth and different things of that nature.
Yeah.
You got the floor.
So first, man, my boy Bennett Rowland told y'all I always give out flowers. So I'm gonna give some flowers before we close out. Mr. Jack, I see you as a difference maker. You provide useful information to the community. A lot of times People feel like the information you provide is very informative, very helpful, and it helps people stay alert and stay aware. So this is a quick flower session. I want to tell you on tonight. In this community, you a real difference maker.
Yep.
So you make sure you text me your shirt size. I'm gonna get you a difference maker T-shirt, and you wear it you wear it however you feel. But I need to get you one of them because you're a real difference maker in this community, and I don't take your platform for granted.
All right, bro.
So there you go.
All right. Well, I tell you what, Damon, Steve, and I definitely appreciate you making that statement. And
for real, man. I mean that from the bottom of my heart. So things I want to say before we close out, real simple, real quick, real simple. I have a unique platform, where I combine a barbershop with a place to do mentoring and counseling sessions. I don't have to cut your child's hair for you to reach out to me for a counseling session. The three things I focus on with my counseling platform, my mentoring platform, is conflict resolution, suicide prevention, and anger management. This is not just 3 topics I somehow freestyled and came up with. Through study, I've come to find that these are the 3 categories that impact most people, most young people. So under those 3 categories, you have subtitles like bullying and, at home, the kids experiencing domestic violence. I get into all that, but those are the 3 focal points. The sessions are only $40 an hour. I've worked with people who has paid $150 an hour for counseling, $125. They come to me, they pay $40. They like, you need to go up on your prices. And I'm like, what make you say that? Well, you more effective. My child don't want to go back to their old counselor. They want to come to you. And I say, well, I only charge $40 because I'm from lower third and I don't want money to be a deal breaker. So for everybody listening, if you know your child, like if you scared to tell your sister, if you scared to tell your mom, if you scared to tell your daddy, just pay $40 and let your child sit with me for an hour. In fact, most of the times I do my intake sessions, sometimes I waive the fee. I discount the fee. You see what I'm saying? Because with me, it's about the results.
Right.
I'm close with Urban. I'm close with my boy, Mr. Jack, right here. He told me the numbers he put out. So for everybody watching that say, I didn't know you do counseling. I didn't know you. Now y'all know. I know y'all know tonight because he told me the numbers he putting out. So don't say you didn't. Oh, you only charge $40? And people tell me all the time, never mention your prices. My boy Eric Thomas and Inky Johnson and Jeremy Anderson, they mentor me. I'm a member of the Next Level Speaking Academy. They tell me to never speak about price. But I'm unique. I'm different. I'm putting it out there tonight that it's only $40 for 1 hour.
Look,
you see what I'm saying? And the impact I'm gonna make with your child is gonna be well worth your time. So quit saying my baby don't get his haircut. I don't care if you go to any barbershop in this town. I care more about the type of citizen you become. I care more about producing a model citizen than who your barber is.
Right.
You don't have to get your hair cut at Precise Barbershop to just come sit down and do a session. Because in most cases, kids open up to me and tell me things their parents don't have a clue that's going on with them. So if you want your child to be competent, give me a shot. It's $40. What you gonna lose? If $40 can save you $4,000 to retain an attorney or something like that, come on now, do the math. And I ain't trying to be funny. Sometimes I'm kind of harsh with how I deliver things because I really want you to feel crazy if you don't buy in. I'm letting y'all in on my secret. That's my style of motivating. I really want you to feel crazy if you don't buy in. That's why on my rap song I say you got to be a fool if you deny this much talent. It's a fact. Like, I connect with young people. Young people love me. And I'm too humble to say it, but I'm saying it right now. So now y'all know.
Not it. Yeah. Well, Dwayne, When we think about we can burn up $40 in a quick minute. You know what I mean? And why not burn it up on our babies? You know what I mean? And so and the other thing is that key thing is, I know I talked over the last couple of days with a couple of counselors, and things. Everybody is talking about, if one particular format don't work for you, keep changing until you find one that does. Because like right now, I know you talked a few seconds ago about suicide prevention, depression, and all that kind of good stuff. All of those things are being celebrated this month, and our kids, it's a different world, because I know when I graduated from high school in '84, I could remember one teacher, my brother, was killed in a car accident, and I don't even remember any any of my peers at that time being injured by gunfire or anything like that. And I look at the babies today, and I just it's amazing what they have to process in their little minds, and be able to come through with. And so we've got to adapt to them changing times, and get our kids the help that they need at this point. You know what I
Yes,
mean?
sir. Yes, sir. If you
Yeah,
tell them to put the gun down, you got to give them something to pick up.
you got to give them something to pick
I
up. And
told one kid, I say, man, you packing this gun. I say, what if I give you this nail gun and you start nailing shingles on a roof? I
hmm
got people that's in the roof, and I say, what if you put this gun down and pick up a paint gun? I got people that paint cars. I said,
hmm
what if you put this gun down and
hmm
pick up the paint gun and start painting homes, painting houses? He was
hmm
like, different make, I ain't ever think about that. I say, bro, you can replace this gun that you don't need with one that can take care of you the rest of your life.
hmm
And,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I want to say that kid somewhere right now. I think he moved away, but I think that kid somewhere right now working in one of those fields I just mentioned. I double check to confirm because I don't ever want to put out false information. But
hmm
you gotta give them options, man. You gotta
You do.
credible options. You know.
Yep. 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 Again, as we're about to wrap up tonight, and I'm gonna call it a powerful conversation, Dwayne, and I'm pretty sure, I might, I get up some mornings, and the first person who pops up in my timeline when I switch over to my timeline is something powerful that you've said. You know what I mean? So I'm sitting here thinking, I might need to get a word. We might need to have a word of the difference maker, a word of the week or something going on here. So you might need to do one of them little recordings and say, "Hey, Jack, I'm gonna send this over there to you," and so you can share it with y'all, share it with your audience, and that kind of thing.
Consider it done. Consider it done.
Consider it done,
Yes,
Damon. I
sir.
hope you heard that. You heard him say it. But anytime, brother. And it's just like I always say to, almost any of the organizations that are out there making a difference. It could be Red River Football League. It could be St. Louis City Stars. It could be 318 United. Midstate tumbling, whatever it is out there, where we are sitting out here doing stuff that's making a difference with these babies' lives, these our children's lives. We definitely over here to help support those initiatives. And I'm looking at the comments that people are saying right now. Bring on more people like difference maker. If you got a topic out there you want to talk about, just send us a message, and certainly we want to be able to get that message out and that kind of stuff. But again, as we wrap up tonight's conversation, difference maker, I definitely want to say thank you for joining us and sharing your insights on youth empowerment and community change. It's clear that we have a role to play in shaping the future of our youth. And it starts by taking action today, having the conversations that we're having today. Remember, change is possible, and together we can make that difference. Before I go, I also want to remind everybody that in about 60 some odd days, I think it is, we got an election coming up on November the 5th. I want to say, I'm not saying who to go vote for, but I am going to say, I'm going to take this opportunity to say, get to know who your candidates are. If they are not saying anything out there, going in their own little cocoons and doing their little thing, pull them out of their cocoons. Yeah, we have a significant number of them here locally that haven't been around the the channel of media outlets to talk about what their platforms are. So again, I want to invite any of those folks to come over and let's talk about what you plan to do. One of the most powerful things that we have in our possession today is that ability to go vote and to hold our elected and political leaders accountable. So again, I definitely want to say thank you, for everybody listening to me rant and rave about that. I also, we couldn't do what we do if it wasn't for our advertisers, and some of our advertisers are Math Makes Sense, National Auto and Tire, Sadler's Towing, Long's Products, the campaign to elect Peter Williams for the Louisiana Congressional District number 6. So, I definitely want to say a special thank you because they are the ones that's truly giving us the resources to have the ability to have the conversations with Dwayne and what have you. But again, before I get ready to get out of here, was it anything else you thought about that you needed to let the folks know about, man?
When y'all see Difference Maker pop up on your screen on Facebook, it don't cost no money to like, comment, and
There
share
you
it.
go. Uh-huh.
Like, I'm trying to take this show to a bigger stage, and it's only to give back to y'all. Like, the bigger I get, the more I'm gonna do for my community. I ain't one of them people that's gonna take the bag and run. Like, my
Yeah.
bag belongs to this city. I'm lower third from now to forever. Like, that's my hood. Again, I'm gonna say, So I want to do more for this city. Just know that when you like, share, and comment, it ain't to stroke my ego. It's not something, I'm crying for attention. Trying to open the eyes of people that can put me in a position to make a real change.
Yeah, man. Look, you see what my boy Damon said. Powerful asset to the community and a powerful ally to Urban Cast. Looking forward to working with you in the future, my brother.
Yes, sir. I
Um,
love it. Yeah, I love it.
all
Yeah.
right. We're
You
gonna
you
we're
give
gonna
me
go
you
ahead.
give me them you give me them shirt sizes, man. I'm gonna get all three of y'all a shirt.
All right, man. All right, all right. I guess y'all heard difference maker. I'm gonna get them sizes. I'm gonna get them on over there to you, man.
Yeah,
But
my word good,
yeah,
man.
but on a real note, we are definitely, it was our pleasure to have you here tonight and talk. Sorry, I had actually designed this to be 30 minutes long, but we went with it, and the folks they stayed with us out there, so I guess it was okay, my brother. Uh,
Yes, sir.
all right, all right. Well, y'all have if you can hang on in there, I'm gonna go ahead and end this live.